Simply renamed as Kawasaki Superbike Challenge in North America, this is a nice looking bike racer with a good sense of speed that is let down by the difficulty racing. To start any racing game thinking you are going hell for leather in qualifying only to be miles back at the back of the grid is always a big drop off in enjoyment. It's not too bad though and does look great. Sensible soccer Keegan style, anyone? Well, almost. Lovely looking game and very fast, if not a little fiddly to master. Lots of in-depth management options to take the player and manager all the way through till retirement that I didn't really dig into for the short time that I played it. It's a fun little game that for completionists would also include the German PAL game, which is exactly the same but has Karl-Heinz Rummenigge replacing our Kev. Kick-Off, known as Super Kick-Off in some other regions, is another top-down footy game with a more arcade styling. A good speed of scrolling and frenetic gameplay is plentiful here, and the Kick-Off series seems to split opinions, but I've never really enjoyed it as much as the others. A different approach to the previous Kick-Off games for the SNES in a side-on FIFA style. I honestly prefer this one. Can seem running through on goal is a little easy sometimes, but scoring goals is easier but still enough of a challenge to make this title you want to play more than once. Not bad actually. Really wanted to like this one, and perhaps it's a game I'll take on holiday on my handheld emulator because it did give me one more go vibes. It looks fantastic. The animations are spot on, if not a little annoying sometimes. It's just the overall gameplay that lets this down. The controls are fiddly with speed up and slow down assigned to up and down, which means there's no going back for missed balloons. I really wanted to love this game, but the control system let it down too much. Another game that appears to have some variations depending on where in the PAL region you lived, so good luck if you're going for that absolute complete set. But anyways, another fighting game similar in style to Mortal Kombat over Street Fighter, and it's pretty good actually. A little dated looking now, but I imagine pretty impressive back in the day. Apparently some of the special moves and end moves are worth persevering for and take some time to master, but certainly improve the game, so that isn't reflected in the short time I played it. The game has a killer soundtrack though, and if you're into these fighting games, it's one you should probably check out. Lemmings references would of course be reasonable, but there is more to this little game than just a straight rip-off of that genre. This is much more of a strategy game, with our little friends being different unit classes, demolitions, bowmen, etc., but with more intelligence than our little lemming cousins. I did thoroughly enjoy this one and would recommend it to everyone who enjoyed Lemmings but is looking for something a little bit more in depth. A Capcom side-scrolling multiplayer hacker-slasher affair, which although has been done to death is pretty cool here. Good character selection that allows you to play, and if you are good enough complete the game in different ways, which is cool. There's nice bosses, fast moving, and looks great with plenty of replay value. Lovely. Two of these were released apparently, but we only got the first one here in the PAL region, and this was the game I was excited about but ultimately felt let down by. I love the smashing up of cities whilst fighting huge monsters as a fighting game, but this feels limited, sluggish, and honestly not that much fun. A kind of mashup between Marble Madness and golf, this might be pretty decent if I had the patience for it. I enjoyed the first few holes, but I imagine this gets tedious quite quickly when the holes become trickier and trickier. It's not that it's a bad game, it's actually pretty good, but it just wasn't for me. Called Kirby Superstar in North America, this is one of those lots of games in one carts that always fills me with dread, as ultimately multiple games never amount to too much. The same doesn't apply here though, and it's quite a lot more polished coming from Nintendo and caught my attention on the more platformy ones. I didn't play all of them, but got enough gameplay to get the idea that this is a fairly cool set of games for a multi-game cartridge. It feels like it's targeted at a younger audience in the most, but it has good tutorials to help beginners, and it all round is pretty good fun. Decent and worth a look. Known as Kirby's Avalanche in North America, this is another one of those Puyo, however you say it, puzzle games where matching a certain amount of colours allows you to pop the little squidgy dudes and make the game harder for your enemy at the same time. I've played a few of these and can take them or leave them, but this one was done really well and held my interest for longer than it should have done. Possibly rewind to my King of Dragons review, except this is not as good and is a bit more of a generic offering from Capcom. Still, it moves along at a good pace and certainly offers plenty of challenges with loads of credits to make sure you have a decent stab at it. Pardon the pun. Finally from the K's we have Krusty's Super Funhouse, which feels like a lazy platformer with a Lemmings style puzzle chucked in. It's okay I guess, but I think I would get weary of this pretty quickly once the difficulty ramps up. Not really a good Lemmings game or a good platformer either. It's just not for me. So that's it from the K's, and the following games are going to go through to my final. I'm going to go for Killer Instinct, King of Dragons, and Kirby's Fun Pack. Why not? Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one.